Yes, people. What it do, what it is. We're back with another one. Apologies tomorrow couldn't go online. We had some technical difficulties. You know what I mean? But yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
man, there's a lot of news happening in this country, man, every day. By the way, just a side question. Did you see first, before I even ask any question, guys, it's your boy LA. I'm here with Venus. I don't know if other guys will join in or not, but I did send them some links, so we shall see. But yeah, please, guys, make sure that you like and subscribe, you comment, you turn on your post notifications, share your view on the live chat, all the good stuff. Okay, but I wanted to ask, did you see? You remember we did a live stream on that American African podcast where there was that Zimbabwean comedian. They were saying, "Look, there's a lion." Uh,
I think it was one of our, not our first ones, but the earlier ones.
so apparently, Label M went there to that same podcast. I guess it was there, I guess, to clarify or whatnot. I just thought it
Mm-hmm.
was interesting. So they had him on, and then he also touched on, the illegal immigration situation in South Africa, the xenophobia thing and whatnot. So it was just crazy to me because I didn't watch the whole thing. I just saw some clips, and then on these clips, they're like, "Now, oh, no, I didn't know. Oh, wow, oh
The,
my."
wait,
No,
is that the Zimbabwean guy?
no, the guys that own the podcast, because he was a guest there.
Oh,
Yeah, he was a guest.
oh.
So the two guys that own the podcast, they were interviewing Lebo M this time around. So now he was, I guess, saying his side and also speaking on a lot of issues. So I guess giving
Mm.
them the insights in South Africa, you know what I mean? So
But
it was just puzzling seeing them, being like, "Oh no, I didn't know."
I
The
mean,
same
like,
guys, they were laughing, calling it a cartoon, like talking about how it's crazy, all those things. You know
it,
what I mean?
even the other one also spoke out about it, saying it was just a joke. What? There was a video of him where he was outside somewhere speaking about this, about which should have like thought the way he did. So now I'm surprised if he's coming to their platform now. They like, oh, kumbaya.
Because at the end of the day, they have a podcast, and apparently, their podcast is the name of the podcast is one. Well, it's literally like one Africa, but then it's 154 because there's 54 countries in Africa. So it's 154. So I guess it's a play on one Africa. I just thought it was fun. But that's not what we hear. Why we here today, you know, or this afternoon, shall I say? But depending on where you are in the world, it might be today, it might be this morning, it might be tonight. Whatever it
Maybe
might
this
be.
evening.
So we have two topics, right? So we're definitely gonna touch on Julius Malema, uh, our best crook, and then we're gonna touch on the Zulu King as well. You know what I mean? Because there was a video that surfaced online, so we'll talk about it. But first, we're gonna go to politics. I think it's politics, both of them, because I mean it's kind of wild. But we're gonna start with Julius. I mean, I think if it does not make sense to people now, why Julius Malema is so in favor of open borders and all those things, I don't know what will. And you know why I like this so much? It didn't come as a smear campaign because I did defend him when it came to the gun shooting. Even though I don't like Julius, I did defend him when it came to the gun shooting thing at the rally because I didn't think that was an issue as they made it to be. You know what I mean? So I saw that as them trying to maybe slander him and whatnot, and I just thought it wasn't a good way to slander him. There's so many things you can use to slander Malema than just to use gunshots in the air. I mean, come on. I mean, that like at this point happens all the time. You know what I mean? Plus, it wasn't his gun. Plus, the guy that gave him the gun was never up for any interrogation or whatnot. So it was a useless thing. You know what I mean? And I still don't even know today where that case went. But now, what I do like about this one that is surfacing right now is the fact that it's coming from the Madlanga Commission. It's actually coming through investigation, so that now you can actually pin this to him, you know, actual. And I don't think that he had it coming. I mean, he saw it coming, or maybe he did because he was going against Mkwanazi, you know, all those things, you know. So maybe he didn't want this commission to go out because maybe he knew eventually, you know, things might circle back to him. You know what I mean? So without even having to explain too much about this, I'd rather just play some news clip and whatnot that is probably gonna explain the situation better for people. You know what I mean? So now let me play this. I wanna play two videos that explain, but I'm gonna start with this one. You know. So this is an ENCA one. So let's see how they break it down. Guys, make sure you like, you subscribe, you comment, and all the good stuff. You know what I mean? And thank everybody that is watching right now. You're the real MVPs.
It was another important day at the Madlanga Commission on Tuesday. Chief Evidence Leader Matthew Charleskinson presented evidence of Major General Feroz Khan's relationship with alleged tobacco smuggler Mohammed Said and EFF leader Julius Malema. He did this with Khan still in hospital, recovering from an attempted hit. Charleskinson said the information raised concerns about a possible quid pro quo relationship between Khan and Malema.
So Mr. Malema sends essentially a complaint about a threat of lawless action by Operation Dudula on the 10th and calls for action to be taken. The next day, General Khan writes back with a question for the Inspector General. It has the appearance of a quid pro quo.
The Commission also heard of a plot to remove then Intelligence Inspector General Dr. Setlomamaru Dintwe, leaking of VBS investigation details, targeting of Operation Dudula, and Malema's support to Khan during a disciplinary matter. Additionally, in August 2021, Syed forwarded Khan details regarding Petrobyte's multi-million rand SAPS fleet management tender bid. In those texts, Syed states that the information came from Juju, who wanted them to secure it. Unlike Syed, Malema has responded to the Madlanga Commission supplying an affidavit. Malema denies some of the allegations, including that he did not engage in unlawful conduct during exchanges with Syed and Khan. It's unclear at this stage if Malema will be subpoenaed to appear at the Commission.
Well, let's see. This matter is in the hands, Pule, of the evidence leaders. And obviously the Commission is seeking to be fair to all those who have been implicated, as we have seen consistently. That is part of why the Commission has been taking strain in terms of its deadline. And so let's see what the evidence leaders decide.
Okay. So, again, that's part of the corruption is involved in, which, I mean, most people know, well, not specifically the details, but definitely know that Malema has always been involved in some dodgy stuff. You know what I mean? But then, I also wanna just to paint somewhat of a clear picture. Okay, so let me play this one so we can paint a decent picture, and then we're going to talk about it.
The Commission Chief Evidence Leader Matthew Charleskinson says WhatsApp exchanges between the Deputy Head of Crime Intelligence Feroz Khan and Tobacco Company Director Mohammed Mo Sayed suggest an improper relationship. He claims the chats also point to links between the pair and EFF leader Julius Malema. Chaskelson was leading evidence from Major General Feroz Khan before the commission. Let's get more now from our Ziyanda Ngobo. Ziyanda, good morning again. So again, it was really interesting just watching the anatomy of these exchanges, and eventually, we heard that Julius Malema number was given directly then to Feroz Khan. But you are starting to see the anatomy of a triumvirate relationship between Mo Sayed, Feroz Khan, and Julius Malema. Of course, the evidence has to be tested, Ziyanda, but just take us back to some of the highlights of what Matthew Chaskelson said to the commission yesterday.
Good morning once again, Iman. In fact, it's very interesting that you mention that Julius Malema's number was eventually sent to Feroz Khan, because we've previously heard that Khan and Malema know each other from as far back as his ANC Youth League days. So, I mean, that's one of the questions that I had in terms of which is which, really. What is really true insofar as the nature and how far back that kind of relationship goes. But nevertheless, through these chats, it is Mo Said who appears to be the go-between between these two men, being Malema and Khan. I'm going to run through a couple of points. I mean, there appears to be a willingness by Khan to assist his associates, including Julius Malema, with looking into cases. He provided a CAS number, and it turned out to be the case involving curator of the VBS Bank, Anish Ruplal, and Malema was provided with his residential address and other private details. There's also an instance where Malema forwards
I wonder what
messages
happened
to
to
Khan
that guy.
through Said again, where the EFF leader is seen insisting that members of Operation Dudula be arrested. Now, this is sometime in 2021, and Malema seemingly unhappy with the messaging and the marches against the marches by Operation Dudula, I beg your pardon, at that particular point in time. But also this quid pro relationship that Chaskelson described is also displayed when it seems that Malema also intervened in a SAPS disciplinary process on behalf of Khan. A voice note played of Mo Said saying that Juju is looking into it and it's coming along nicely. That would have been in and around December 2021. It's also very interesting, Iman, because in 2021, we also know it was the Ayrton drug bust. It's not clear, however, I must add, whether or not this disciplinary process is linked to that, but we understand there was some kind of disciplinary proceeding against Khan at that particular point in time. There's also then information that Malema forwarded about Berto Bright. It's a company that had bid for a SAPS fleet management tender, and Said then forwards it to Khan and says, quote, "It came from Juju," and then another quote, it says, "I think he wants us to do it." So it seems like they wanted to get in on that SAPS fleet management tender. So these are just some of the points that really came out over and above, of course, that main issue that seems to have captured the attention of South Africans, and that is the questions that were fed from Khan, or were ping-ponged between Khan, Mo, and Malema, that they were used through and on an EFF letterhead verbatim to ask questions that were setting a trap for the then Inspector General of Intelligence, Dr. Sitlumamaro Dintwe, in which they were asking about the nature of his relationship with an alleged drug dealer, Timothy Marimutu. And the main issue there, as was pointed out by Chaskelson, being around whether the intentions of Khan in this instance, not to actually get to the heart of the possible improper relationship, but actually trying to orchestrate the demise of a person really who plays a watchdog role over someone like Khan, Iman. So those are just some of the key points that came out, and we anticipate then that the commission will also now look into more allegations regarding drug busts, but this time with witness M.
And we'll pick up some of those themes, Ziyanda, in our chat with security analyst Aldred de Klerk. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah, man. So, hey, oh, you're there. How's it, man?
Hey, Lindo, how's it? I'm
Hey,
good, man. No, I've been
I'm
here.
good. I'm good.
I've
All
been
right.
listening.
So what you think, man? What you think, man? Julius involved in some corruption, of which is no surprise. But then,
Allegedly.
well, at this
Allegedly.
point, there's evidence, man. I don't know, but for proper,
Mm,
I
yeah.
guess, for using
No,
proper speech so that we don't get into trouble, we'll say allegedly.
yeah. I mean, there's a lot that he's been accused of over the years.
Mm,
And he always maintained, hey, no one has ever brought evidence. There's no evidence that's ever been heard in court and things like that. So, I'm looking forward to see how he defends against this. I mean, I'll admit it was quite curious for me when I watched that committee where he was so adamant that Feroz Khan should not be called
bruh.
um, uh, to. I think it was for the ad hoc committee. Not
Mm,
sure. Yeah, I think it was for the ad hoc committee where he was fighting with the MKP guys as they were insisting that Khan should be called up as a witness, and he was adamant that no, there's no need and all of that. I mean, for me, when things like this come out, then it's like where you're trying to cover up there. But let's see. Let's see. I like to know people for who they are. And in the same way that we have heard the other commissioners and ministers have to come and answer,
mm.
and MPs, yeah, he should be afforded the opportunity to come and face his accusers and answer.
Okay. So
Yeah.
here I'm gonna. I don't know where Venus is at, but I wanna read something. Listing. I guess uh, what Malema is doing. So it says here targeting the intelligent watchdog, meaning collaborating in accordance or collaborating in a coordinated 2021 strategy to force out the former Inspector General of Intelligence, Setlo Mamar, Dintle, let me just say Dintle, by using trick parliamentary questions drafted by crime intelligence Ferran Khan or Feroz Khan to trap him into lying, right? Trading political cover for leaks, offering high level political backing and protection to Feroz Khan during internal SAPS disciplinary actions in exchange for classified state intelligence documents, right? Receiving classified state intelligence, you know, receiving leaked internal police reports, sensitive information regarding state tenders, and the private home address of a liquidator investigating the VBS Mutual Bank corruption scandal, which, by the way, he denied. He said, just because this, that, and the other, now you want to put me in this, I'm not involved. Obviously, just like how he wrote an affidavit, a statement, and sent it to the Matlanga Commission denying everything. Okay, fine. Another one, attempting to influence state tenders, attempting to manipulate SAPS procurement processes by forwarding documents regarding SAPS fleet management tender bid via a middleman to Khan. So I'm guessing that middleman is Said and whatnot. Uh, Allegedly on behalf of a company previously accused of bribing the EFF, right? And then accepting illicit tobacco funding, utilizing financial backing from Adriano Mozzati. I have a video on that one as well. Adriano Mozzati and Carnelix executives, I guess that's the company, who are accused of running a multi-billion rand illicit tobacco smuggling syndicate to fund the initial registration of the EFF and clear personal tax debts, establishing the financial ties underlying the alleged quid pro quo arrangement. So to
Just to check,
me,
are you using
yeah,
a news article or an actual legal document? Where are you reading from?
well, I just put the information on the AI and I told it to list it for me in simple terms because I can't
Mm,
read that whole thing. You know what I mean?
okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
just make sure you check everything.
Yeah, 100%.
You
Because
know,
I
yeah.
existing information and it was just breaking it down into simple points. Because if I had to read this whole thing, we would be here for the whole night. you know.
No, I got
But
you. I
then,
got
because it is true, because there's even footage of all these things, and it is what these news ladies were also saying. You know what I mean? But just to put it in simple
mm.
form, you know what I mean? So for him to be all over
I'm still
Parliament,
here,
you
man.
know,
I'm still here.
all
Go
right.
on.
For him to be in Parliament, you know, back in even the Zuma days, you know, pay back the money, you know, all those things, and you know, he's portrayed himself, especially towards his supporters, as this guy that is fighting against the establishment. You know what I mean? Um, even with the anti-illegal immigration thing,
Huh?
talking about how no Africa we are one, open borders, and then we find out that okay, open borders because maybe there's some things that are being smuggled in the country through these borders, you know, that work for him, you know, because with this guy Adriano Mozzati, you know, and it's crazy. Like, how do you feel, South Africans, hearing all these names, you know, that we never know? At least I didn't know, and the people that I know didn't know. You know what I mean? So I don't know if you knew all these people behind the scenes, you know, funding these political parties, you know what I mean, to do these things, whereas these people they portray themselves as people that are fighting, you know, for the people of South Africa. And then you find out that nah, you know, it's one thing to assume, but then when you find that yes, these people actually have other agendas, you know, why would you uh, blame the march of marching march or march on march, you know, of these fundings and this money is coming from this place and that place, but then you are getting funded with money that can be considered illegal. Because now, if you're talking about smuggling tobacco and all those things, I'm not sure if the tobacco is illegal. How is the money then legal? You know what I mean? And then these people funded your party, this party, and you're calling it economic freedom fighters. You know, you never fought for no economy. Never. The only thing you do, you go to people, you tell them to be violent and crash on their own properties and all those things, because and you say they must build whatever shacks in other people's land because I don't know, for whatever reason. You know what I mean? Whilst behind the scenes, you're engaging in the same things that you accuse these other politicians of doing. You know what I mean? Well, to me, I'm not surprised, but I'm actually glad that some of the stuff is coming out, you know, because in some of his old interviews as well, when there were some people that were asking him about this, whether it may be journalists or whatnot, he denies everything. So what is he gonna say now? No, it wasn't me in those messages. Those are not.
We
That is not my number.
we're gonna hear, you know, we're gonna hear, but I think at this point, mm, to just simply deny, I mean, that's gonna be difficult because, you know, it's like, I mean, I know these commissions are not exactly like criminal proceedings or whatever,
Mm.
but it is legal. Like, you know, you have to provide evidence, you have to argue for it based on the law and everything. So, I mean, I really am looking forward to hear because yeah, the name of Mazotti has followed Juju for, you know, almost his entire EFF career, and yeah, he's always of course denied that there's any shady dealings. But I mean, if what is coming out is true, uh, then you know he's got a credibility problem, is what I can say. I can't hear you anymore now.
Trying to reach her. I was trying to reach Venus, but let me put up these text messages as well so that you can uh, speak with
Mm.
them there. Hey Venus, you good?
For now, how's it, bro?
How's it,
How's
Venus?
it?
No, I'm good.
I'm
I'm
good.
good.
Yourself? All right, that's great, Brad. Apologies if that.
Oh, by the way,
So
guys, I'll have to jump off in a bit, right?
okay,
We need to go get an order and then I'll come back. But
all right,
let's
no
be
problem.
chatting.
Sure.
All right, so there's one of the messages. I mean, these are the texts, right? Can you see from your side?
They're too
Yeah.
far, but you can read your
Let me
load.
try. Let me try and zoom in a bit. This thing is zooming other things, man. I wanna zoom this. This thing is zooming other things. But then it's fine. I'll just try and read as much as I can. So the first WhatsApp is a conversation between
So are these
Mohammed
from a
Said.
Maganga Commission account?
Yeah. No, well, not
Okay.
account, but then it's shared all around social media, but it's coming from the Madanga.
All right.
I don't even know if they have a social media account. Don't be
I
wild, by
doubt.
the way. So this side is from Said, Mo Said, and Julius Malema was forwarded to Feroz Khan. It shows prepared written questions for Minister Begitela about the alleged relationship with convicted drug lord Utsimi Marimoto. All right, so I guess what is, oh yeah, I think the white messages are Julius Malem. You see, this is even his number. Was he the one that screenshotted these messages? That's crazy if he did. Because I mean, why would you do that? But then fine, I think he did it a good thing, criminalizing himself, which means as well you cannot trust, even the people you're working with in these corruption scandals, because they're gonna use the information they have to save their own asses. You know what I mean? So the thing, have you had any discussions with Timmy regarding the removal of General Peter Jacobs as head of crime intelligence? So this is Malema speaking, by the way. If so, what security clearance gives Timmy access to you as the Inspector General of Intelligence, particularly as it relates to discussions of crime intelligence matters? And then I guess Mo Said is saying drug lord, not drag. the old dog, whatever. What is it going to be? Fired up.
Nothing
What is it?
right.
Like, imagine, bro. When is it going to be fired off to them? Then tomorrow, and then I guess those misconfused emojis. People think it's a prayer. It's a prayer sign. It's not a prayer sign.
Thank you.
No, it's like when you're hitting two hands again, you're like going like a high clap. That's what it is. But then we all understand it as a prayer sign, so we'll go with that.
When Hindus are greeting or leaving, they do this. The monks too, I think. So it can't just be a prayer. It means a lot of things.
Nakona, even if it is a prayer, what you thanking God for helping you? Your God will help you, man.
These ones, it's very hard to see these ones, because now, let me try and do something. Because now these ones are so it's fine text.
So the part where they correct Julius when he says drug lord, not drag, but so is Malema complaining about this person? There is a drug lord who's a general, or
No, it just I guess it's
Or
all
maybe
about
just maybe a cop who does his job, they don't like him, they want to get rid of him.
no, he just wants information on him. You know, like even us, what security clearance gives Timmy access to you. So I guess even this drug lord has a relationship with some of these officials as well. So I guess he's trying to find information. Yo, hey man, like what's up with this guy? You know.
Okay.
So
And it doesn't sound like it doesn't sound like a person who's I'm not sure how old are they? Was he in parliament then or what? But he doesn't sound like a concerned citizen. He's concerned for his own reasons.
yeah, it's his own
And
reasons for sure.
it's not like he's gonna report the person. It's like they all know so and so does this. Now maybe so and so knows which they knows what they do. So it's not like he's gonna report him somehow to the authorities. He knows such information, but he's a person who's so called in government
Yeah, you see,
because he's in parliament.
you see, even here because it's fine text, you know, from those messages we read at first. So from this side, well, because we ended on tomorrow here, right? And the prayer emojis. And then on this side, from tomorrow, I guess this was Mosaid saying they must fix up the spelling of drug in paragraph 1. It's so focused on this drug misspelling. It's crazy, you know. And then I guess there's like, thanks, bro, much appreciated. And then there's a small screenshot that I cannot see, but as you continue there, there's I think maybe this was Ferron Kaz, Feroz Khan or something, but you are my brother, always and forever. There's a response, amen. You know, if I go on here, this whole thing was actually like questions to Minister of Police. And then one is, do you have any relationship with the convicted drag lord? So that's why he was complaining about the drag lord, the Timmy something. If so, what is the nature? And does it include discussing crime intelligence matters? You know, have you been in contact with Timmy and discussed crime intelligence matters related to Inspector General of Intelligence and the removal General
Damn.
Jacob? And then 3, it was, have you had any discussions with convicted drug lord Timmy regarding the supposed deal made by former President Jacob Zuma and Major General Feroz Khan that he, Khan, will use state intelligence resources to ensure the election of Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma as president of the ANC? If so, what security clearance did Timmy attain to discuss crime intelligence matters with you as a minister? So I guess they were preparing to question. They were preparing to question the Minister of Police, right?
Which was Pegitele, maybe
Which
then.
was Pegitele, yes. And then I guess Mo Said to Farouz Khan saying, Chuchu sent me, you know, send me now. And then I guess Feroz saying, excellent, bro, thanks. And then again, between Feroz and Mosaid, someone says, let's go to war. You know, it continues.
So wait, is it Malema asking because he wants information to deal with Zuma, or it's something? Or what are they planning here?
I don't
Is
think
Malema
it's
just seeking information?
it looks like that is seeking information. So we don't know. Maybe I think it started with Malema, I guess, questioning, right? So I guess now
Mhm.
a large part of the conversation is between Mo Said and Feroz Khan, because they did say even in the news that Mo Said was used as the middleman between uh, Feroz Khan and Julius himself, you know. So
Mhm.
I guess as it continues, uh, I guess Feroz is saying, when are they sending it to him? And then Mo Said is saying, you happy with the questions? Mo Said also says, let me ask. Feroz Khan says, yes, bro, this should get him to lie. And in return, we can ask for his removal because he lied or he has lied. This is fine text. No. But I think it's been sent already. Absolutely. He's going to deny it and then he's fucked. Bye bye pose. I don't know what that means. Big pose.
Pu- Big puss.
Big
He's not
pose.
saying
Oh,
that.
bye bye pose. Big pose. You know, Faraz Khan say big pose. And then Mosaid is saying, when is it going to be fired off to them? You know. So I guess it's that for now. There's a lot.
uh,
There's a
but you
lot
know
happening.
what? From what I've heard, I think, okay, I think first of all, the first message, maybe it was a screenshot taken by one of them. And then those white ones, maybe those were the recovered chats, deleted chats. I think. I'm not sure.
Possible. Yeah,
So
most
right
likely.
now, right, unless it's me not understanding English, but I don't think so far from what we've heard is there anything that's incriminating him, yeah, well, Malema. But it does raise questions though. It's okay, very intelligent people, they have people in different spheres here of life, yabo. They interact with together intelligence, yabo. So, and people like ministers or parliamentarians cannot be separated. Like they also can be like involved with such people, yabo. But now, so I'm giving him that benefit of a doubt. But yeah, what I put in a corner, you can tell what's deep down they have a relationship, you know. This
100%
guy,
they
he will
do.
give. This guy sometimes will give him certain things he uses to his favor, and then vice versa, yabo. And they have a very good relationship by the look at things. And one thing about these people, bruh, uh, they don't they, they do keep certain people in their corners, but a lot of people they keep in their corner is people they are involved with in whatever debt they are doing. Because
Yeah,
they are
and then
because they are intelligent people, very they have to associate themselves with a lot of people. But in this case, because you have to follow the link here. Okay, he talks with Khan like this, they are this close. And then he's also close to this guy, is it Mazoti or what? This other guy is in the business of selling cigarettes. The one people say is allegedly funding the FF.
yeah, what's his name again? Let me look.
It's Edwin, something Mazzotti. So what I'm trying to say is, if you
Yeah,
look at the link,
Mazzotti.
if you look at the link between Mazzotti and Malema, and then Malema and Khan, and then Khan and Mazzotti, you see, it's not just them sharing information, yeah, because they use each other, yeah, they use each other a lot. And then maybe as time goes by, we will know what's going on. But for now, it's I wouldn't say yeah, it raises questions, but not incriminating, you know.
But then
But yeah, who
he,
yeah.
he wanted some. I don't know, Peter Jacobs to be removed and whatnot. And I think I don't know. And also the frightening parts to me is when they're talking about wanting to remove let me just be clear on that before I say it. On the Second, the third text, have you had any discussions with convicted drug lord Timmy regarding the supposed deal made by former President Jacob Zuma and Major General Feroz Khan, that he will use the state's intelligence resources to ensure the election of Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma as president of the ANC? I mean, that alone there is telling me, or at least it's proving my conspiracy theory that I've always had, that these people are installed there. They make it seem as if you vote for them and whatnot to make you feel as if you have a right and whatnot. But then it's clear when people are fighting for whatever they're trying to fight for, and then you see the backlash from the people that were supposedly elected by those people, denying them of those complaints and all those things, because they know that for whatever reason, they were not put by the people actually there. So they don't feel like they owe the people anything, because you can even see the discussions from just random people who are supposed to be catching criminals and protecting the country and all those things, having sad conversations that they should never be even involved with to begin with. You know what I mean? So all these things to me, and Julius finding himself in the middle of all of them.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, and like I said, he is using the information he gets here for his own personal benefits, right. But look at things, nothing incriminating, but because of the links. Let me close this thing for now. No, not the, I'm going to open the mic, I'm just the camera.
Okay.
Are there any other screenshots?
Not that I've seen, but I'm sure there's more. But let's see what the Mpofu dude.
Oh, this is Mpofu Walsh.
At the time was the decision not to invite.
By the way, where does the Walsh come from? Because if his father is Mpofu, where does the Walsh come from?
I think it's his mother's surname. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. It's his mother's surname. That's even more weird.
Yeah, I'm back, brothers. Yes, serum of Welsh, indeed. His mother is white. Not sure which side of the European family she comes from. But yeah,
then
that is
Walsh, usually
yeah,
it
well,
would be, first and foremost, I've never seen a man do this. Just period.
double
But
barrel.
but two, I've never seen it done in this way. Maybe it should be Walsh Mpofu, because Mpofu is his father's surname, right? So it should be like the main, like what you mean? I don't know. Maybe it doesn't matter. I don't know. But it's just weird for a guy to do this. I've never seen a guy do this ever. But let's hear
we criticized it at the time was the decision not to invite Major General Khan to the ad hoc committee. And Julius Malema spoke very forcefully about why he thought that Khan was not a witness worth calling. By that stage, it was abundantly clear that Khan should have been called to the ad hoc committee. Sadly, other political parties went along with the EFF and Khan wasn't called. There were a number of dubious decisions in terms of witnesses at the ad hoc committee. Morgan Maumela, another witness that the EFF said shouldn't be called, who wasn't called.
President Ramaphosa.
President Ramaphosa, sent him love letters and asked him to send love letters back, never questioned. So there were some strange calls there. And of course, now in hindsight, it looks strange that with these links between Malema and Khan that have been unearthed, it looks strange that Malema appeared to be shielding Khan from the scrutiny that would have flowed from him appearing at the ad hoc committee, and possibly shielding himself from any evidence that would have shown a link between him and Khan. But I believe the EFF put out a statement
and
rejecting that.
Okay, that's that. So I don't know what do you have to say about this, go.
No, it's exactly what I was saying previously. That Juju was very adamant that no, Khan should not be called. You know exactly what Caesar is saying, and a lot of those are the questionable things. But at least the issue Khan, it's at Matlanga. So like I said, I don't want to speculate too much, but just going on what has already come out, it's not looking good. It's not looking good. And if I was an EFF supporter right now, I would have questions. I would have many questions. I would have existential questions about myself, and where I am, and so on. So I'm looking forward
Yeah,
to
man, too
the
many
moment when,
questions.
yeah, I'm looking forward for that moment when he has to appear, so that we can see how he responds. You know what I mean?
And
To
Malema
the
he has this
allegations.
rah with him, so he's probably gonna say no, what, and then overspeak everyone, and then everything is like it's gonna be trying to be wasting time as much as possible, so that it can come to an end and be like, okay, we don't have any more time to continue, so
So
postponed.
I mean, look, I won't lie to you. Like Malema knows how to play the political game. Like
Mm,
discourse and debate, he's good with that. The only problem
100%.
comes up when he begins to contradict himself. Changing what he said previously and then changing his stance constantly. That for me becomes credibility issues. But also for Majanga, we will see how it goes. But it looks like those guys are really sober. You know, from what I'm seeing, that that might not be the space where he's able to do that. I mean, I'm just speculating, but just based on what I've seen, those commissioners really
Hey,
don't
Mark,
take.
there's a playback. I
Where is
think
it coming
Venus, the
from?
playback is coming from you there.
But he's muted.
Now just muted him
But
now.
oh, okay, yeah, now it's better. Now I don't. Yeah, I was also hearing that. But yeah, I was just saying. Yeah, no, I think with the way the commissioners have been so tight and so to the point, and
Mm.
like I recently saw how they were engaging with Khan's team, how they refuse to let anyone get off the point, basically. So we'll see if his tactics work in that situation. But I think his tactics that he applies in political discourse may not work in that environment. That's my thinking.
Yeah, because now he has to be straight with his facts. But also the funny part to me was also him trying to get Operation Tutula members arrested. What is that about? You know what I mean? What was that about? Like, I mean, just to play this video of that, it's like 40 seconds. You know, it was crazy to me.
Julius Malema allegedly told a police general to arrest Operation Dudula members. That's according to evidence before the Madlanga Commission. Operation Dudula members were planning to remove undocumented foreign hawkers. Malema wanted them arrested immediately. Testimony shows Malema had a direct line to suspended crime intelligence boss, Major General Feroz Khan. Unencrypted transcripts show Kaniling's executive Mo Sayed forwarded Malema's WhatsApp messages straight to Khan, some meant for the police minister himself. And here's the biggest claim. Malema allegedly asked who was behind a VBS Bank case against him. Khan allegedly gave him the man's home address. A suspended general, secrets straight to Malema. Julius Malema allegedly
What happened to that guy? That Malema got the address and whatever. What? Does that guy still exist or what?
I'm curious too. Like, how's the feedback now? Is it still there or?
Yes, when I speak, but when you speak, it's not there.
Maybe you need to fix DJ, they do the things. So, I mean, what I said
it's
earlier,
coming from you though.
okay, let me take out the old.
Checking. Okay. I can't hear myself now.
Okay. So when I was saying earlier, would say like it's not incriminating. I was only referring to those part of the text you were showing us. Well, forgetting what you said earlier, reminding me, would say, oh, he did everything he can just to block for Khan to appear in the artwork. Well, that alone was like, okay, what's up with this guy? Well, and then, well, what you just played now, trying to get your operation to do like be shut down. I mean, like in the land of democracy, and everyone is free to do whatever. Why, when not even as the main leading political party, but as the opposition, you want to silence just because to do like that time it wasn't that huge. Why you want to silence them like that much? So
I think
yeah,
the same thing that he's doing now with the March and March, because clearly he wants the borders to be open for a reason.
so
You know what
so
I
you
mean?
can say him operates being in connection with a guy who's in crime intelligence. He's not just their source or what, but they give him information as well, and he uses to however he see fit. Because, for example, he wanted to know someone who's investigating him, and then he's even given the person's address. That's
What
beyond.
happened to that guy? Well,
So
continue.
it's
I'll,
those
I'll
things
search
that
for him.
really raises serious questions. Who's like, okay, what are these two doing? So let me pack it there.
Yeah, you see, like for me, it raises a lot of concerns for me because, like I've said to you many times, brothers, I want to live in a society that is open, where I can say things that others disagree with, and others can say things I disagree with. And as long as we're respectful and we're not violating the law, then it's fine. I mean, for example, if he felt that the guys of Operation Dudula were breaking the law, could have just called the police, open a case or something. No need to go
100%.
to some retired guy from the spies. You don't need to do that. When a democratic state, you go open a case. You go open a case and say these people, have violated the law like this. Zotoli case number and whatnot. Of course, we know the police service how it works, but I'm saying you normally open a case. So for me, anyone who's in politics and is going to try backhanded tactics to shut up your political opponents, what you don't trust? You see, that's why I said even last time when we were talking, and I was talking about the political assassinations. I mean, there was an EFF member also who was assassinated. I don't want EFF members to be assassinated, not members of the DA, not FF Plus, not ANC. I don't want, I want it to end with discourse. If Ngukshayala, that's how it works. And that's why we have the laws that we do and the constitution. Because now
That's what they're afraid of.
if we're gonna operate in some gangster fashion, I don't want a president who can do stuff like that. You know what I mean? Because the reason we have Madlanga is precisely this kind of behavior with those in power who think they can abuse the state and use it, to meet their own ends. And, not uphold the law, violate the law, do all these corrupt things in the dark. These are the things we don't want. These are the things we are wanting to clean in our system and in our society. So for me, a politician who does that already is facing severe credibility issues. I mean, it's strange to me. I thought Julius trusts himself when it comes to political discourse. I mean, what is there to be afraid of Dudula? You're afraid Dudula will have more influence than you on the people? Like you don't trust yourself. I mean, I thought they're small boys. They don't know anything. You know what I mean?
And the crazy
What?
part is that Dula was headed by, you remember that guy when Tantalax that
Yeah.
time? Because I think this was during the 2021 period and whatnot. And then fast forward, that guy, you listen to that guy today, he's speaking a different tune. And now it's like another lady that is the leader of the Operation Tudula, you know. He all of a sudden changed and talking about now Africans are brothers and sisters, you know. He's changed his entire tune. The guy that was so aggressive going into
How?
all these platforms now it's changed
Wait,
his tone.
wait,
There's a
Lindo.
reason why we didn't see him throughout all these movements that have been happening for the past 6 months, you know, around the country. We didn't see him,
I
but
thought
Operation Tutula was
I,
there, but he was not there.
I thought I saw. I mean, I know he left to Dula, but my understanding was his stance has not changed. Because I thought I saw a recent debate. I don't know if it was the big debate or what. I don't know if you saw it, where they were
On
debating that guy,
SABC,
Africa diaspora, what. I forget that guy's name. They were debating against him. I think no, I
I
Grab
think
was.
I think I saw that too.
it's not like, is
'Cause
that video not from like 2022 or something?
it's an old video.
And you know what? And recently, the thing I saw of him recently, and he's before 2 weeks, I think, before the 30th of June, there was something going on there in Gauteng. I don't know. There was misinformation. They were saying even the Sotos are going to be affected somewhere somehow. And Galaxy has called this group of people together, and there was some
Yeah,
misinformation there. And then Gizwe went there to clarify. So that was the last time I saw him. But I think I also saw what you're talking about. There was this panel on SABC. It's that show that's headed by the Indian guy who wears glasses.
Yeah,
yeah. I
so
think that was it.
Yeah, and it
Yeah.
looked received. So it was that show and then this thing where Ngizwe attended the shows.
Because
But
yeah,
you can see he's distancing
right
himself from
now, right
Tukulu.
now, I think it's fair to say I'm not sure about his stance right now. As
yeah,
far
I'm gonna
as
say that too.
as
I'm not
far
sure.
as I know, he's part of the South Africa First crew. As far as I know, I don't know now if
Okay,
it was an African.
But yeah, the South African First organization
here's
has
the
been
thing.
was captured
Not
a long
to,
time
not,
ago.
not to be jumping off topic here. You know what's interesting about that guy? Remember, there were journalists outside his home, and his mother was being dramatic, like as if she's in some theater acting. What's it? 4:10, boom, in the hour. The thing even became a meme. Remember the time? They claimed a bomb went off in in his neighborhood or in his house or something. But they didn't show us where the bomb went off. And then his mother was being so dramatic, wada. Where's the case? What happened there?
Something so huge, you know.
You know, so for me, that moment alone, it showed me who this guy is. He rolls with other people, that guy, you know.
Yeah,
And
let me play.
people he rolls with, bruh, they control the media, bro.
Yeah,
He's
I
that
think he's
guy.
being
And
captured.
that's not a
Yeah,
conspiracy theory. Because that drama there, bro, each and every media agent was there, bro. I was expecting weekly reports, bro, of what's happening. If they found who put the bomb there, you know, all these things. But it's just out of nowhere, like, you
vanished
know.
into thin air. Yeah, let me play this
I think that's a
discussion,
good,
bruh. Let me play
yeah.
this discussion on SABC, you know, and see what they have to say about this thing.
Acting as an intermediary. And the promises that were made, I mean, just to read the message here, saying that this is a fight and we will emerge victorious. And this is all regarding Khan's disciplinary woes. What did Malema stand to gain from keeping Khan in the strategic police position?
I think as the commission continues with their testimonies, it may come to light as if what is it that he stand to benefit? As I said earlier on, that this is what is called a quid pro quo kind of relationship where I give you something, you give me something. It remains to be seen. We also heard that at some point, Julius Malema called Khan to say he must arrest members of Tutula, Operation Tutula. Maybe those are some of the benefits that is gaining from this kind of a relationship. But I think as they continue with the testimonies, there's more that will still come to light. But again, I still feel that they must also look at the cell phone of Julius Malema, look at the cell phone of Mo Said, and then compare all these messages. There we may see more bombs.
Let's now just look at what we know and the facts that we know here. When we see the response from Malema, he has denied any conspiracy, and he says he cannot verify the authenticity of the WhatsApp messages relied upon by the commission. So it's important that we get this through as well. So from an investigative perspective, how important will this digital forensic verification be before any legal conclusions are actually drawn here?
That is very important. They must get a forensic investigator to sit down and do a comprehensive work in terms of comparing all these messages. But I think it would be fair for Julius Malema to be afforded an opportunity to appear for the commission, because submitting an affidavit is not enough since they cannot interrogate it and probe it further. But for him to appear before the commission, it will give us a clearer picture whether he was indeed involved in this kind of various activities or not. But I think to be fair.
Okay. So yeah.
Yeah, it is. This what's he give and take relationship. You give me this, I give you that. But what like Malema is involved deep, bro. That's my assumption. Because if you look at the triangle, no Mazoti, Khan, and others. I mean, damn, there's a lot going on there.
It's crazy, man. And this guy of I don't know, it has a tobacco company apparently that funded the start of the EFF. I don't think he's mentioned enough, you know. I think he also needs to appear.
Here's another thing now. I always see people on X taking pictures of Malema's jacket, Malema's suits, Malema's shoes, and someone will come out and say, these shoes cost 40,000. And as a parliamentarian, bro, how much does it get paid? Last time I checked, they were getting paid 80,000. Maybe now it's 100,000. Like, you can't be paid like 200,000. Your salary is 100,000, and when you wearing a shoe that's 40,000, you have others for 20, 30,000, and you have not a G-Wagon, what's this car? If you class.
Man.
I'm sure many other cars, I don't know, and you're telling me you're earning 100,000 rand. You're getting money somewhere else, because I think he has said it himself in the past. He used to be a businessman, but after that NC fall, no more businesses.
I'll be back just now.
He involved himself with the farming. Okay. Now, I'm not saying it's like that, but such things start to make you wonder what's okay, what's the salary of an MP? If he's wearing a 40,000 rand shoe and he has more than like I'm not sure exactly your price range.
What happened to those lifestyle audits we're told are coming for parliamentarians and public officials? Because I mean, for real, and this has to be part of our civic education, that we must bring here to the platform. We really need to go and look at how much public servants earn, and actually if public servants and parliamentarians are allowed to have business interests. Because I know the head of state is not supposed to necessarily have business interests, as far as I know. So we must go back and look at those things, what the law says. Because, and I don't know what happened with the lifestyle audits. Yapella moyeni now, just
I
like
think, I think months ago, they did touch on it, and it seemed like it's something that has started. Yeah, well,
you
but
see
then there was
that
there was a backlash. The funny thing is, it didn't start with the parliamentary ban. It started with other people on top, but let's say maybe some CFO, people like that, not in the parliament. So there was some backlash there. People didn't want to submit their things. I think I saw some news articles regarding that. But it should have started in parliament, the thing, and then work its way down.
and like I can understand people must have some sort of privacy. You know what I mean? It's not like I want to know everything oyenzayo ngemali yakho. See, me, I don't mind if you like nice things and you get paid enough to have those things. The problem is if you are using money, that's not yours, basically, to get yourself those things. That becomes a problem. If you're using public funds, that becomes a problem. But I don't necessarily mind. But of course, the it's not lost on us that this is a political party of, I think socialism, or if I'm not mistaken, it becomes also a contradiction in terms of a
But
lifestyle. Is socialism just a theory, a concept in your mind? Is it a lifestyle? Does it have any bearing on how you live? You know what I mean? These are real questions that one has to ask, just from a political, ideological perspective.
And also,
Should it
according to the
really?
constitution, they should not have businesses as well.
So
if they're getting around 100,000,
protected him, man. He said he's a farmer, he's not a businessman.
and if they do have businesses, they should be either sold or closed.
But you know what's interesting with this auditing thing? You see, National Commission of during the ad hoc commission, he declared there what he owns. I have what 4 houses on board. My wife is helping me. Even Mkonazi found himself explaining himself. So, okay, I have this X5. I'm paying a monthly installment too. But in Mkonazi, ITEC, whatever, they always bring up cases against him so that he is not what's the word? What's security clearance? They never clear him when it comes to that. And then you have a guy like Ukan. How many cars does that guy own? I heard it's maybe 5. I had 5. I had 30 something. And I see Ferraris there. I don't know, like, what's happening? Who clarified this person? Who did this person's security clearance?
Background checks.
That's why you even see people that work at Home Affairs. Like you see them with these big houses and big cars and whatnot. And you're like, bro, you work at Home Affairs, bro. How much do you earn? Apparently now we know they're selling, documentation and all those things. They're legitimizing illegal businesses.
Yeah, Lindo, we can talk about many things, but lay political corruption and the capture of the state, we must take serious. We cannot have the state being infiltrated by all these shady elements. That is dangerous. And you can't solve anything else. You can't solve home affairs. You can't solve state security. You can't solve crime. You can't solve anything until you resolve this issue of auditing those who make decisions, those who give access, to criminal elements. You must solve that one first. Make sure you have the people who are accountable there, and then they can help us and work together with us to correct the rest of the system. Otherwise, we'll say, let's start in Home Affairs. You go to Home Affairs, you fight. They get a call from up high at Home Affairs, and they're told, Nina, don't move. What are you doing? Who said you can move?
Yeah, it should be a top-down approach.
Exactly. You gotta clean start from the top, boy. Like this one is
You know what?
bad.
But then the people they're gonna put there are also corrupt. Like, look at the state capture, the first one that was just designed to go against Jacob Zuma, you know. So with all the evidence that was that came out from that, nothing was ever used. You know, this one is still ongoing, but at least there's some people that have been already arrested. You know, your Ket Matalas and whatnot. You know, even though, like you mentioned, Venus, before that, even what they used to arrest Ket Matala was not the thing that came out from the Malaga Convention, but it was something else, just to hold him in prison in the meantime. So he hasn't actually been charged with what was found out, but other things were used just to make sure that he is in prison, and then maybe when he's in, they can maybe start bringing up these other things as well. You know, I don't know. I'm not sure. I haven't been following as much. You know what I mean? But then with the first state capture, this Zonda dude, bruh, he was like from the jump, bruh. He was under the head of Ramaphosa, you know, or maybe other people that we know nothing about, because it seems like all these people that are there, they have other people behind them that are telling them what to do, you know. Like, for example, I don't want to go off script, but even with these Epstein files, you know, in America, there's actually footage, bro, of a state senator or whatnot actually texting with Epstein himself. Epstein is telling him, say this now, say this. And then he actually asks that question, you know, all these things. And then what happened to that lady? Nothing. Bro. So it happens everywhere. You see that because they would have been arrested, but then because it wasn't just Epstein. Epstein was perhaps maybe the face of that group and whatnot. And then they're always going to sacrifice if you get caught. If you get caught, they're going to sacrifice you. You know, they don't have any loyalty to each other, anything like that. The only loyalty is whatever they can benefit from each other. And once you become a liability and then they see like you're going to destroy everything that we have going on, everything is on you. You know, it's you. It's always been you. It's always been about you. You're the one that has been doing this thing alone. You know, we don't know nothing about this. You know, so with this thing as well, I say the same thing. Whoever that is caught, whether it's Malema and they're like, okay, Malema, we're tired of you now. We can get another politician. You are not that special. You know, we're just going to throw you under the bus. Or whether it's Khan, we can just always get another general, whatever, from the intelligence and put them under. So if you now are in this hot water, you know what? Let's throw you under the bus. You know, at the end of the day, it's going to be very, very hard to get, you know, the people that are actually pulling the strings with this whole thing.
Yeah.
Because going back to the audience as
see,
well, they're going to get their own people to be the ones overlooking these things.
Yeah, you see, Lindo, the complexity now with the system is that the corruption is just so deep. You know, like an infestation. You know, when you're dealing with an infestation in terms of disease, you know, it's not easy to deal with.
It's a cancer, this thing.
But like I said previously, at least like South Africa, unlike in many parts of Africa, we can still have things like commissions. People can still be compelled to come and answer questions. That's something we must never lose. Look at the state. We need to empower ethical, principled people in the key position, in the executive, in the head of state, the ministries. We need to make sure the judiciary is solid. We've got people who are impartial there, you know, non-partisan, people who are about the law, you know, people like Madlanga and these commissioners here, well, who can ask the difficult questions. So empower the state, you make sure you have ethical people there, but who are willing to be held accountable by the other arms of the state, you know, like the judiciary, the legislature, and so on, and parliament, you see. So, and we have Chapter 9 institutions like the public protector and so on. If you have the right people in the institution, you know, you get rid of all the criminals, you know, the gangsters. Take out the gangsters in governance, man. Get the right people and get people who are who have the spine, but also you must secure those people. Don't play. You must secure those people, and I mean at different levels. You know, you must make it so that I can come into that role and I can be confident that I can do my job. I can go after the criminals, and I'm still gonna be alive tomorrow to fight another day. Because now, if I'm exposed, I mean, that's why there's all this political assassination. So that's why political task team, political killings task team, task force. You must bring back those kinds of things. You know what I mean? You must make sure that we bring back legitimacy to the state. Bring in principled people. You know what I mean? It's not going to be easy, but that's the fight we must continue to fight to make sure that politicians, public servants, they understand they must be accountable. Otherwise, you're going to get caught. And you must make sure that they know that if they do something, they will get caught. And the cost of being caught is way too high. It's even higher than the billions they were promised. The cost is way too high. So you must make the cost for being corrupt way too high that no one can pay it.
Yeah, and also with every new person that is entering, whether even from the police, the army, the parliament, even individual political parties, all those things, there must be some type of oath or some type of process that they have to go through. Whether it's like some mind-bending stuff or some fear tactics, whatever it might be, so that when you hear, you really have to abide. Because if you start now going outside of your job, what you have to do, then they must know that there's some circumstances, bro, that they might face that they don't even want to find out that they, but because it looks for now like they're not scared of the repercussions at all.
Yeah, Lindo, Yazin, I think one of the things that made our African institutions powerful was that the things that you had to swear on had actual implications. You know what I mean? Like, I think maybe we're going about this the wrong way. We're giving people, because they do that oath of office thing. We saw them do it after the elections of 2024. I swear I will do this, so help me God. Well, that
and it's
that's
not even ours. That's the oath that is being said all over the Western countries.
Remember General Sibia during the Arab Commits? He swore there. And then he as soon as after was done the swearing, live one way.
I think I have a crazy idea. I think this thing of swearing in, I actually was playing around this idea that what if actually we make people swear by their ancestors largely? Because we know our people, largely believe in that and have conviction about, but maybe we must look at what people have conviction about. Don't just swear generically. Swear by your God that governs your life. Whatever that thing that you believe in, swear by it that you're not gonna do shenanigans here. You know what I mean? Like, I
think that could have worked. Maybe it can still work for some people, but I think it could have worked better in the old world because people were really now people are so individualistic. They're like, hey man,
Lindo, people still have beliefs, and those beliefs are primarily what influences them most of the time, anyway.
What if we add on that and we say, if you are guilty of something, you are not the only one that is going to be arrested. Anyone over the age of 18 in your family household will also go with you.
I don't know about that one.
You know what's the solution, guys? You know what's the solution?
About it, they didn't do anything wrong. I don't want to put them into this.
And now I'm gone.
The solution is this conversation.
That's gonna open up some job opportunities.
Have you seen in China? In China, corruption, bro. There's a minimum you're not supposed to. Yeah, but if it's a 10 million RMB, maybe 12, 10, you will serve a jail sentence. If it's like 20 million RMB, what you die. They hang you.
I'm not
in
mad
China
at that.
For get hanged. I think that's the solution.
I'm not mad at that. And that way it only deals with that one person. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
I
Yeah.
don't,
Here's what I wanted to
I don't
say.
believe in collective punishment. You know what I mean? I don't
Mm.
believe in collective punishment because I do think individuals, I don't want my kids, for example, having to be held accountable for stuff I did that they know nothing about. You know what I mean? So I think maybe we look at models like Venus is saying, or China and other countries. Like we have to do benchmarking. What are the states that are getting it right, mostly right in terms of governance? We're not looking like for a perfect model. I don't think you'll find one. But there are those that have it right to some degree. Like you can see, I mean, the Chinese are on the game, man. They are on the money. They are running it. So, we have to look at that to ask ourselves, but, what can we borrow here that can assist us? Pineapple.
Before
All right. So yeah, we have
before we move on this topic though, because I'm sure
yeah.
you're about to play something different. Like I wanna say this thing of Madlanga Commission in ad hoc, bro, it has opened a whole lot of can of worms in such a way. Even Ramaphosa, bro, I'll say is implicated because there's just
A
recently
lot.
there's news about this guy who was killed during COVID. They said it was COVID, General Mfazi or something. He was killed. They said it was COVID-19, and then I think they take the body, they tested it, they found he was poisoned, and as soon as he died, no one knows who called them. They were there by his house to collect the documents, his phones and everything, and it's the same guy that was investigating Palapal. So this thing has opened a whole lot of can of worms, and you have this guy who Maumela, who the SIU is just taking his assets, they are not arresting him. And then what I heard recently, Ramaphosa, he gave them a green light to extend the commission. It was supposed to end soon. Yeah? So he given them extra a month or two to finish it up for them to submit the final report. And guess what the date he picked? I think we're supposed to be voting on the 4th of November, but he pushed it to the 16th or to the 18th of November. Why? Why must they not submit the thing before we vote?
Imagine. And also the death of Natim Teta just swept under the rug. You know what I mean? But
You see,
okay, yeah.
that's a sci-fi. That's a movie right there.
But yeah, I mean, safe word pineapple. What's happening? Are you there? You got your
What's
boy
up,
Donald.
gentlemen? What's up, gentlemen? How's it going?
Good, man.
All right.
Good,
Hey, man.
good. Donald.
Yeah. I got my wife right next to me, and my lounge behind me because I'm so
Melania.
rich and stuff.
She's
my
waiting.
Melania and my Melania couch right behind me.
Now we see
Yeah,
living
man.
the life.
Man, got my hat and everything, you know what I'm saying? Gotta accessorize. But yeah, no, man. For now I was just listening in because I just joined in, so I don't have a lot of context or mind, just to see what's his kipan, and then I'll dive in.
All right, so cause I do have a video that perhaps will maybe get you to speed and whatnot. But first, let me read this comment real quick.
Cool.
From No Holy Cows. The date makes no difference. The public has seen enough. Honestly, that us. Honestly, that us.
I think the person meant to say, honestly, that is a non-issue.
That is a non-issue. Okay. Yeah, when I'm seeing Donald here and then I'm seeing US there, But yeah, the date makes no difference. The public has seen enough. That is a non-issue,
But some people still need to see more because you know how our people are. I mean, you know how our people are, bro. So I think as much like a lot of chaos, So that when this voting comes, people are already like, I this is too much. We need a lot.
All right, so here's this video by Inkubego Media. I mean, shout out to the independent media platforms out there, because that's the place where you can get this news, bro. Because you watch these ENCAs and
Baba,
SABCs.
these people are cooking, man.
Bruh, like
These
they're the
people are
ones
cooking.
getting all the information out, bro. And they're actually exposing the mainstream
I
media on
mean,
how biased they are and all these
I mean,
things, bruh. They always all share the same opinions, the media, you know.
as we speak, everyone is singing about the Stella Artois. Okay, so then I'm not gonna elaborate further. I'm gonna stop right
Yeah,
there.
I know we're gonna come to that now. But I just wanted to play this video and maybe you can have I guess a general understanding on what we've been talking about, and then maybe we're gonna spend like about 15 minutes on it, and then we're gonna move on to a different topic.
Denies funding Dlamini Zuma. He does not shy away. Denies funding Dlamini Zuma. He does not shy away from confirming that he did give 200,000 rand to Julius Malema to start the EFF.
I gave money in my personal capacity, not as a company. I gave money to Julius Malema, who is a friend of mine. I've known him since the days of the Youth League. You know, I've been a supporter of the ANC since the 1980s, and Julius is a friend of mine.
Have you ever been convicted or charged with involvement in the illicit tobacco trade?
No, never. I've had disputes with revenue, and some time ago, in fact, 8 years ago, there was an initiative started by SARS, an operation which was started by Johan van Lachenberg. He started an operation called Honey Badger, which was targeted the industry as a whole. A letter was sent out to the trade to say, listen, either you guys become compliant or we're going to come and shut your businesses down. So we were the first factory to go to SARS and say, listen, we want to talk, and say, listen, we want to talk, we want to show you what we've done. That's where the self-confessed part comes into, because we went to SARS and said, this is what we've done. The negotiations lasted a long time, and eventually those matters were settled last year after that very public raid on my house.
Okay, that is Julius Malema's close friend who funded the EFF, you know, the beginning of the EFF, you know, and also his money troubles. He helped him with that as well, you know. So I just wanted to just show that guy and him himself, you know, because it's also allegedly smuggling.
I was about to say allegedly.
Yeah. It's
My
also
favorite word.
allegedly smuggling, you know, tobacco through the border illegally and all those things. And we know where Julius is based. You know, he's based in a province that has the border. You know what I mean? And then it's the same guy who's been trying to use those people as people that might be targeted or looked at as foreign nationals as well, that might be targeted during this process and whatnot. And then and then they created this movement of Batonga people that has just vanished, you know, out of nowhere. It's just vanished, of people that came out and say, oh, we're being targeted and whatnot, and then it just vanished. But then again, there are most people that were from Limpopo that came out and said, this is false, this is not true. We also here are in support of the marches and whatnot. We also facing our own issues here with illegal immigration, and we do not want our name or our culture or our ways to be confused with whatever these politicians are saying about us, you know. But regardless, so maybe Pineapple, you can maybe, I don't know what to think of that guy allegedly funded. Well, not even allegedly, because he admitted himself, you know, that he funded the EFF, the so-called Pan-Africanist political party, you know, was funded by that dude.
So he is allegedly a cigarette smuggler. or was allegedly a cigarette smuggler, and also boosted EFF at the start. Am I on the same page on that bit?
Yes, but we can also say
So-
allegedly still funding the EFF.
Allegedly still funding, who's to say? I mean, we said Uzi, they're still friends and all of that, allegedly again.
Yeah.
So we don't wanna throw any fingers around in the air without any proof, things like that. Well, if it was just a video these days. Hey. So let me start with this. Where do you want me to begin with my thoughts?
Wherever you want to, from the beginning, from the beginning.
From the beginning, hey, my guys. But I mean, hey, Yazin, at the end of the day, political groups are always gonna look for funding from various people, whether they're sketchy or non-sketchy. So there's more alleged in their sketchiness than others. So it's not like it's entrenched. I never know what to say whenever someone asks me how I feel about someone getting funded by someone that you don't expect to be funding a person that you're being asked about. If that sentence makes sense, that's a whole that's a whole maze of a sentence. But I'm hoping it made sense. So I never know how to feel about a question in general, because at the end of the day, it's, from what I understand, it's politics. You get funding where you need it, and you start your party and you push your agenda.
No, but Toba, if you put forward a certain position ideologically, if it kind of looks like it, because it contradicts, because now we've been told South Africans are xenophobic. Instead of going for white monopoly capital, the people who actually control things, they're going after other black people. Then you see this guy say,
instead of
the
problems like
this white capitalist is my friend. I end up with I get a bit dizzy. Then I'm like, whoa, wait. And you see my problem. The CIC.
And who did he get the gun that he shot at a rally?
Forget the gun, Lindo. Let's not bring in too many things.
Hey, let's not bring up the gun. Allegedly. Who allegedly gave him the gun?
Yeah.
Yes,
so Ulindo knows that. Ulindo knows that.
Like very loud.
In many ways, I have aligned with Malema's ideas on Pan-Africanism and all that. The problem is, again, the changes in posture constantly. At some point, he was in Sishiku there saying, hey, you can't be giving jobs to Zimbabweans. Local people must get jobs here. And then next thing you know, no, our African brothers. I'm like, wait, I'm getting dizzy, bro. I feel like I'm in a boxing ring and I'm in the corner, getting close.
Where do you stand?
Like I don't, I'm not sure. Like, what's the position? What's the position? So okay, there are many questions that can come up. Like, okay, is it primarily fundamentally about race? Is it about class? Is it Pan-African brotherhood? I'm just not sure, because now if you say it's about race, it can't be, because you clearly, unless you are saying the white people you select for us to accept are fine, and the others that you perceive as enemies are the ones who are a problem. Already it's falling apart. If you say class,
it's you picking your poison.
Yeah, so look, I don't mind you picking your poison, but just also be open about it so that I can also decide whether that's the poison I would want to align with. But we must be honest about these things, you know what I mean? Because even if you say class now, you come to class, obviously Juju's class is not the same as the general membership of the EFF, and so you start to have a whole lot of contradictions now. Like, I'm not saying black folks shouldn't have modern things, cars, Italian suits, if you will, and all of that. But if you're a Pan-Africanist, and if you want to claim, for example, Thomas Sankara, you want to claim Thomas Sankara, you know what I mean? Like, it's hard for me to reconcile that. Sankara, Thomas Sankara, guy. That guy, on principle, said, I'm not going to wear anything except if it's made here in my country by my people, as a matter of decision. At some point, he was like, we're not going to have fancy cars in government because we are a country that's trying to develop. We can't afford to be giving you all in government luxury cars. We can't be giving you all these air conditioning. He refused to give them air conditioning in government. And maybe that's why the guy was taken out, because he was making unpopular decisions, but they were necessary decisions for you to properly develop. You can't properly develop when you've got public servants who are millionaires and billionaires. You know what I mean? So it comes down to that, okay, fine. We get it. It's the political game. I understand the political game. And that's why when I'm looking at politics, I'm not looking for saints and devils, or anything like that. But you gotta have some consistency about your thing. If the contradiction contradiction is fine. I don't collapse because of contradiction. But you gotta have some consistency for me. And if there's too much contradiction, especially in your own words, today you say, now I'm not sure. So now all I'm waiting for is for what we are going to hear at Madlanga when Juju has to appear. And I hope he will appear. And I hope he will appear willingly to come and bring some of us into his confidence. So we hear what he's saying about the charges leveled against him. You know what I mean? Like, for me, I ain't got no heroes. I know human beings are flawed. The human animal is complicated. But I want to at least hear, like, what's your, how do you rationalize this thing? How do you stay consistent with your thing, your message, your ideology? And then there's this, I gotta hear something. That's all I'm saying. I gotta hear you say something.
On that, Koba, there's a comment here, but first, I'm gonna read the comment towards Venus. Like, look, Sunday drama, Venus. They want some chaos. There needs to be more chaos. All right, but then also, Holy Cows, to what you were saying just now, is saying, but that is not a contradiction, bro. One can be pro-migrants and still advocate for preferential employment of citizens. I can go on. The issue is you are not listening to the argument being made. So I don't know, maybe you want to clarify.
What is the argument?
Yeah.
I mean, I think this is coming. This is for me, I think.
Okay. He also said just now, I am not with Malema, by the way, but come on, logic must dictate certain things. Fair criticism, no holy cows.
Angili, like, all I'm saying is, okay, so you're saying there's no contradiction at all with the things that I've raised to say, okay, I'm someone who at some point considered myself aligned with this guy. But I'm saying, if I am also being fair, it's some questions that gotta be answered. And of course, I'm also clear. I'm not against immigration. I'm not anti-immigration or anything. I'm about the law. Let's protect the law because that's what protects all of us, regardless of our nationality, ethnicities, whatever, status, citizenship, the law. We must agree on that one thing that binds all of us, regardless of the languages we speak or ethnicities or whatever. So my thing is, there's that level, but then there's the level of your own messaging and positioning that keeps shift. Now I'm not sure. You Pan-Africanist. Okay, I understand you're saying you're pro-immigrant, but then at some point you were saying something else. That's all I'm saying. Is just becoming a bit too much. I need a bit of clarity. Nami, forward to Angili. No holy cows, for sure. And that's my point. If I was doing the holy cow position, I would need to defend Malema. But it's hard. Like if I was being true, right, to Pan-Africanism and doing holy cows, I would need to defend Mbeki, Malema, Mbuyiseni Ndlozi, all of whom I've critiqued, by the way. And guess what? The one guy in the Pan-African circles who I think is sort of aligned with my thinking, Tau Haramanuba. And guess what? This is a guy I used to disagree vehemently with previously for other reasons. But with the, my position is this one, that we must be reasonable and principled in our Pan-Africanism. He's saying the same thing. Previously, we used to disagree. Juju, I used to agree with a lot. Now I'm asking questions because there are no holy cows, and I agree with you.
Yeah. So
I've
Venus
also-
or pineapple.
Hey, me, it's raining now, bro. You won't be able to hear me. It's
Oh, we
raining
can
now.
hear you.
No, but we can hear you.
We can hear you just
Your
fine.
mic,
Yeah,
hear
we
them.
can hear you.
your mic is suppressing
Yeah, we can
nicely.
hear you.
Nah, bro. Hey, Uju, bro. Hey. What was the thing we were watching about? That white guy,
Adriano Mazo, yeah, something like that.
It's always said don't judge the book by its cover. I try not to, but hey, there's a gangster right there, bro.
Yeah, that's definitely a gangster. You can see.
That's a gangster right there. So it's very interesting. Good see, like I appreciate the loyalty they have of you, like of each other, because it seems like from day one he's always been with Malema, bro. With him when he was in the ANC and when he was accused of chowing money back then, and then he fell. He even left the ANC and ran off with him, and still looking after him. And it can't just be based on loyalty alone. There are things we don't know they offer each other.
100%.
Deep stuff.
It's
Deep
a give and
stuff.
take relationship for sure.
Yeah,
There's
and
some
we just
backstabbing
start
going on.
Yeah, okay. Maybe Pineapple, you can maybe share your thoughts. Maybe if you have some on this topic, and then we're gonna move on to a different one.
No, I don't have much to say. What's in Jim? The other day someone asked me a very interesting question, and I wasn't quite well. The way that they defended their question, it kind of left me stumped. So now I'm just gonna throw it out there and see what you guys do. I'm not gonna defend it the way he did because it's their question, but I found it interesting. But we're talking about, for example, you're saying like, what's him as a Pan-Africanist, some of the ideology that he's been pushing before, and all of what he stands for, but also at the same time you're upset about how the law is also being not being used properly or accordingly, I guess. And then there's the question you would see, even Leo, how well do you trust the law these days? That's the other question that's the question I actually wanted to ask, which is, yes, these are all these people and they do all these funny things, but they don't get caught because they're hiding behind that same law. They don't get in trouble because they're hiding behind that same law. So it's just a random nugget before we move on. We'll see, how well do you really trust the law, and how can that be fixed? Because it does bother me. Wuti, the same law that's supposed to help us is also the same law that's kicking us under the bus in various ways. And it's like little, it's not like blatant, but it's like little things. Like, for example, we don't allow illegal immigration, but then Maulana was store. Citizen, you know what I mean? It's like, but anyway, that's just my thoughts on just that little nuggets. Nyana, what you guys think about that question, Sharp?
I can probably answer that question with a question. Like, how often is the law used? I think you alluded to that as well, that we do have law that is against illegal immigration, but then what
Mm.
happens is different. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
you had the
yeah, yeah.
constitutional court talking about how it was illegal for the reports that was the Palapala report towards Ramaphosa, you know, calling for the parliament to create a committee, impeachment committee, and whatnot, and that is swept under the rug. And then, but when now the constitution, because just a couple of days ago they came out with some type of ruling towards asylum seekers, talking about how they don't need to have proper documentation and whatnot if they asylum seeking and whatnot. So now, that one they want to follow that one. You know what I mean? Because now
Yeah,
it's
it's
working in
like there are
their
certain
favor.
sections of the law that are fine, and there are certain sections that are like, no, 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 no. We don't
You
need this
know,
section.
so
Yeah.
again,
It
I
just
think
goes
this
back.
thing, yeah, I think, yeah, just to finish, it just goes back to the people, because they talk about what we were talking about, the top-down approach, of clearing out these things. So the difference is, it's the people. So to quote Kanye West, he said, "Guns don't kill people. People kill people." You know what I mean? So it's that. It's a matter of people, because that same constitution in the hands of different people can work differently. But then again, in the hands of other people can work in whatever way they want it to work. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I won't say much, Lindo. It's just in response. I would also just agree, that was my point from the beginning, that if there's one thing we must, and I must first make the point that generally the world is a contested space. Kuyaluyiwa. And the legal space is the one of the primary spaces where there will be contestation. And that's the point. And that's
Yeah.
why Uzuma showed us that you can test the law, you can test the provisions and see.
Mm.
So the law is not a thing that works on its own. It has to be activated, for it to work. It
Mm.
must be applied. And so, when you're looking at that issue, it goes back to the issue I mentioned earlier about selectiveness. If the law is selective in how it is executed, it's a problem. But if this may be an ideal, but what if, no one truly was above the law and that people were held accountable? You know what I mean? And that is what we must fight for. That's why I'm saying it's a contested space. You will have to fight. And that's why I like movements, civic movements and organizations that are taking into the state in terms of the law, asking questions related to the law. And that's how you have to fight. And again, I'll emphasize the South African law is worth fighting for. It's not perfect by any means, but I don't think there are any prescripts that people can put down that are perfect. And that's why we have such things as amendments. These things can be amended as far as there's insufficient consensus that yes, this must change to this. And that's how these things must work. But we must be active in making sure that our rights are protected. Um, because like I've mentioned also previously, unfortunately, the law in many ways does depend on how much money you have to get yourself proper, good legal representation.
Yeah.
And that in
Yeah. I was gonna
itself
say.
is a big question that has to be asked. That we're saying we have this beautiful constitution, everyone must have access to, fair representation and all that. But it's clear in practice, you gotta have you a good pocket for you to get all the good stuff in the society. And that's a question that has to be raised, not just about the law, about everything. If you're talking about public access, access to public health, yeah, it may be free, but it's not the best, is it? Education is the same. And so these questions become broader in terms of do we really want a society where you can only really be sure you will get justice if you have enough money to get you a good lawyer? Uh, and that's another question we have to raise. You know what I mean? Is that really the kind of society we're aiming for? because I forget this quote, but I think it says something along the lines of a society is judged by how it treats its most vulnerable, you know, not the strongest. You see that? So if your most vulnerable continue to become increasingly and increasingly more vulnerable, you got a serious problem there. So I don't have like a quick fix, but what I do know is that this is the thing we have in terms of recourse as citizens to make sure we fight that this law is upheld, because it is in that that a lot of these things are going to be uncovered as they are being now. You see, now we must just fight that actions have to be taken, on evidence that is brought to light, and things like that.
Oh yeah. So on that note,
Can I say
we're moving
something
on.
quick? You,
All right.
you sparked something. Just I'll be short. When you said it depends on like how much you have. Yes, I agree with you 100%. But in some cases, it doesn't help, bruh. Whatever lawyer or money you have. I'll make an example. Remember former President Jacob Zuma walking out of the commission. He was jailed. And you know what happened? What happened recently? Who's that NPA head? What Batoi? She did the same thing. Even the guy, something, the advocate guy told her, reminded her with Aibu, are you walking out? Remember what happened to the head of state who walked out of the commission. But guess what? Nothing ever happened to Batoi. Is it Amelia Pato? Yeah, I just wanted to say that I just back that.
Yeah, well, that's because the people
something
that were
else.
the people that were taking out Jacob Zuma were not the people from this country, but there were people who have a lot of interest in this country, using the people of this country. Because trust me, bro, literally, you know how cigarettes, for example,
It was me. It was me, ladies and gentlemen. It was me.
you know how somehow like the illegal cigarettes, right? And then everybody like smokes illegal cigarettes, right? All the time. But then if they want you for some reason, they're gonna catch you and say, "Hey, you are buying illegal cigarettes," and then arrest you for that. And then you're like, "How? What is going on right now?" Just because they have a different agenda. So it doesn't really matter whether what you did was legal or not illegal. They're gonna just find whatever they want to find on you, no matter how small it is. No one ever, in the world of commissions, even during the TRC, bruh, there were so many boas there and other people that were supposed to attend that denied and said, "No, I'm not doing that." Some came and just walked out when they were being overly questioned. All those things, bro. None of them were ever arrested for none of that. And then you're telling me you're going to arrest the head of state while still sitting in office. So at the end of the day, it was all an orchestrated plan. But regardless, let's move on. So now we're going to touch on a very sensitive topic, to a lot of people. You know what I mean?
Oh, don't do it.
Only cows,
Oh,
and then
don't
they
do it.
had behind technicalities. Of course, 100% they do on the cows. They definitely do. Or maybe they just hide behind lies. You know what I mean? Because we see that they're lying. You look at the constitution, you're like, damn, that doesn't exist there. But then what you gonna do if the judge, the lawyer, all the people are speaking the same thing? You're like, where are you taking this thing from? You just have to move on. What you gonna do? Because we don't have the power. We have a weak army, that doesn't protect its people, but protects politicians. You know what I mean? But yeah, so this next topic, and as well, guys, please do not forget to like, subscribe, comment, turn on your post notifications, share your view on the live chat like no holy cows, Come on, dog. Yeah, but it's a good thing, it keeps us
And
engaged.
disagree if you disagree.
Yeah,
That's
you
very important.
disagree. Yeah, 100%.
Disagree
All
if
the
you
good stuff.
disagree. Yeah.
Yes. Subscribe, guys. Okay, so I'm moving on to this topic. It's about King Misuzulu, you know, the alleged Zulu king.
Hey, Mfethu, why inspire enkingeni Mfethu?
Nothing, it's important, bruh. Let's play this video and then you guys are gonna have your own interpretation.
You know, at this moment, man, I should probably keep my camera off for this conversation.
No, man, like, you know what?
Yes,
everybody's already talking about it online, man. You know, so
it's almost like this. It's better to just be Trump, you know. It's moments like this where it's better to just be Trump.
Yeah, I know. So yeah, yes, Lindo. The thing is, man, and I alluded to this previously. I don't mind critiquing heads of state and public officials, but when it becomes also connected with cultural and linguistic issues, I'm a bit sensitive. You know what I mean? Because the Zulu king represents the Zulu people. Whether he's, you know, a so-called king, if others see it that way, but you know what I mean. Just on principle, I do have to sort of be sensitive to that, you know.
Now we're gonna try and use nice words. less offensive words, you know. But I think it's fair. I mean, equal opportunity smoke, you know. Everybody must get this. You know what I mean?
Let's see what you got. Let's see what smoke you bring in today.
Okay, so I'm not gonna explain it. I'm just gonna play it.
Oh my gosh! Oh no, it's the one. It's the video.
10 million. Maliam.
Okay.
For 10 million. Ngiyikhokhela imali yakhona phelele 10 million. Maliam. Sengixakwa ileli dladla kusedladleni lapho leli dladla. Because she's involved. Ayikho into yake yalunga emhlabeni ukhona umdolomba pha. Angazi nebhadi noma wachathwa ngesichitho. Lo. Ngisaba ngisho ungena ebhizinisini naye. Yonke into anayo. Fana ungabona abantu bamthuka kanjani ama Facebook lo. Hey.
Hawo.
Angithi iyo lento engikhuluma yokuchaga amadoda usethi uMakaizer Chiefs yonke lonke lusechaga amadoda. Kade kufika abafuthi hey akathi kuma ngathi awukanti ngiyabona. Ngiyabona.
Kaizer Chiefs yenzeni manje la mfethu?
Mina bengingafuna ukukhuluma unoma sekhuluma nini. She's out there without permission, my permission.
But.
Lalela mntwana ngosi. Mawumfati wendvodza. Uyacela angicela ukuye kuthini. At least let your husband know. Ukuthi ngiye kuthini. Mase sekubona nje uqhamuka nje. Awu angazi lesifebe besiyaphi. Mawuthu. Ayabamthanda. The Zulus are not happy with her.
But
Kufanele
kube nelibandla labo make leliya labo.
Yebo.
Bondlunkulu libafundzise sibondlunkulu babehave njani.
Lalapha ekhaya. Kodwa yazi ukuthina amabandla anjalo engathi bathola le inkonzweni koShembe. Maye mina noShembe mina. uShembe kimi uyabona uShembe. Uyazi isilima. Manje hey ngiyakwashembe uyabona nje kunendoda emshelayo ukuthi uMasango lo. Uyazi. Uphi hey ngicela uye esontweni ngathi ufuna ukumkhwela lesontweni. Lalela ngomdedela inja. Ayihambi inja iyokhwela esontweni. Kwakuthini ngiyophuma ngiyoflathela uyodungama lo. Akangazi.
Akuvuke.
Noma ngabe unomuntu onjani wangapha ngizoyishaya engane ayingazi ngiyinkosi ngi. How did I become a king? Ngoba ngumthakathi.
Ayezidishile.
Ucabanga ukuthi wonke lamadoda angaka eSouth Africa onke afuna uba yizilo.
Ayezidishile.
Ungalwa nami wena. Hey, wekholo. Lenjaleni. Ufeke ngicela endini yami. Nginentombi yami lapha. Uncane ayiduyilena. Anginqenge ngcuza yakhe mina. Fuck. Ngayidelela umdolomba. Ngimthi imali wazi uthini? Ngiyagcina. Uzombona uzohlupheka kanjani umfazi. Ngimfuna aphumile futhi la endlini yami la. Hamba Hamba emachobeni. I don't pose a stupid question la. Uduka ngwalo blale wazi wenzeni lengane le. Kumanje kunento ayakhaya la. Bazi induna ziyangibu. Kufike induna lapho but yini lenziwa umntwana sizula akhela yena. Emzini kaba. Yini lo ekhaya wena? Hey, wothatha lezi iqini zakho ubuye nazo emachobeni. Ngakubeka emachobeni nomsunu wensha. Kusathi ujwayela kabi wena. Awusiyo wena wakhangela wena. Akekho umuntu onomfazi la. Ujwayela kabi wena mbolo. Uzohlala ngathi uyanuka. Fuck you. Kusathi ufuna uhambile. Wazi uthini?
Yona impilo engiyiphilayo usuku nemini le. Usuku nemini siphila
into engizoyenza.
Ngithemba ukuthi bengicuphi ubuza into yasuka awuthi ngihambe.
Hey, guys, that's bad, eh? And do you know what I mean by that's bad? I don't mean the actual thing that happened. The fact that it's broadcast. Lindo angitshele mfethu. Do you want me to be sitting there with a camera as you are having your back and forth nomuntu wakho? You know what
It's
I mean?
her.
Like,
She's the one that's recording.
She's
that's
the
what I'm
queen.
saying.
She's the queen, yeah.
That's my point. Like, do you want us to see on social media uphethe idampi yakho wena uhlezi nentombazane yakho and you are saying to her, no, I'm not happy about this. No. And nakhona uyabona, like for me, it's like, man, protect the throne. Protect the throne. It's not about the guy. And this is the important thing we need to understand. This is why Africans can't get it right. You tell me that if that happens in the British Crown, what's gonna happen? They're gonna throw you out. And yeah, we have who's this Harry something, Meghan and what? They were like, "Hey, you guys are nyaskaza hamban." So you gotta protect the center of power, regardless who occupies it. You might not agree with the guy, but that's the thing. And this is why we don't get it right as Africans. That domestic situation has no business in any public platform. There are internally ways that these things are resolved. And vele, it's not always going to be nice. It's not always going to be decorum, especially when it's that sensitive. When I'm dealing with my wife, I don't want to be dealing with my wife, and now the whole world is seeing every detail of what I'm saying when I'm angry. And
she recorded this.
So yeah, I don't agree. I don't want to comment on the details of what was said. I just think that situation should have never been public. That situation should
also. Why you guys are just catching strays?
I don't agree with
that. Can I say something quick? Yeah, Nami, before I saw this video, I was ignoring it, Jay. I was like, nah. Then finally I listened to it. But you know what? And it was so, I'm going to answer it without getting into it. It was so funny looking at people's comments, especially the ladies and the sisters. One said GPV. So I'm like, so I was like, okay, like, we're living in a time now where you can't really express yourself. You can't even say to anyone because there's a GPV. To some people, it's abuse of words, what. But here's the thing.
Verbal abuse.
Here's the thing. You're a woman. You see, if a woman marries a guy like me, I'm not a king. So yes, she's still expected to respect me and do the other things. But when you're a woman and you're married to a king and you're a queen, because you become a queen when you get married to a king. You see, when it's like that, you should act like a little puppy. When he said sit, you sit. When he said you stand up, you stand up. It comes with that, being married to a king, automatically. So you can tell, and the other thing, this lady, a lot was said about her before she got married to the king. There were things like, as a king, you should go to Mhlangeni, get a wife who's taught properly, who's going to obey or know about the culture or what's expected of her. Yeah. And what did he do? He went for this other chick who's been exposed to life. Someone who's been exposed to life. And then these are the results. Even for me as a guy like me, if I make a wrong decision and then I involve myself, this is what I'm gonna get. Someone who's not gonna respect me, because I don't buy that this thing is abuse. I mean, bro, if I'm pissed, I'll say I'm allowed to express myself anyway, as long as I'm not beating you up. If I'm pissed, I'm pissed. Because you don't know what she says. Because it's all funny, because this thing, it started somewhere, it didn't start there. So that's another thing where it's almost the same situation with that radio guy who was it from Mikakas, who wanted to take his son away, Felix Lop or something. I don't think they played that video in the beginning, to show us how this thing started. They always show you the bad part. It's like, okay, now let me victorize now. Because if you hear what's being said there, that lady is not listening to her husband. She doesn't say when she's leaving. She's building whatever she's building, and she's not consulting everyone. And it's even people
she's going to church.
Bro, and there's a guy who wants her in church. And that guy got balls, bro. How can you go after a king's wife? That guy could have some. It shows again where this lady comes from. So that's how I see it. And I don't see the thing as abuse at all.
Yeah, but also, I don't know.
I can't even express myself now. If that's it. I didn't beat you up. That's it. Yeah, let me park there.
Yeah, me personally did not see
Could
it
I jump in
as
real quick?
abuse and whatnot. I just saw it as whatever, altercation, and then he's mad and whatnot. But then the things that I did notice, the things that I did notice is one, you see this propaganda that is directed towards the way of women, the feminism thing, you got the power, all that thing. It has gone so much to the point whereby it's even affecting, someone who's supposed to be traditionally trained, on what is right and what is wrong out there. Recording, I guess that was the mother, that was like somewhat of a mediator there. The mother is more respectful than the wife. You know what I mean? Like the wife is busy recording, and then when this thing is ending, and then she's like, hey, you see what I have to deal with every day? This is not like from the block. You know what I mean?
I'm sorry, Lindo. I'm sorry, LA.
Yeah.
Out of all the wives he has, only her goes through such. Are you telling me it's only her? So you can tell Sister Elijah. Why the others we don't see things like this? Because they come from different backgrounds.
Can I just throw something in real quick? Let me just drop my quick 2 cents, because I'm gonna need to bounce for a second, and then if you guys are still around, I'll jump back in. But I think maybe let's not deter too much from the actual problem at hand. The problem at hand is Uguti. Ama affairs almost are not supposed to be a public matter at the end of the day. That's the first problem. Because this has been exposed, and it's not just a family matter, but it's a family matter, which is double trouble. Like, so it's a big, it's good. It's like you don't expect the English royal family to go through the same scandal and then go pele with an "I'm sorry" press release, and that's it, So that on its own it is a cause for concern, not for whether you're male or female, but for Isizwe Sakazulu as well. It is a bit of a cause for concern. Ukuthi into enjalo ingavele yenzeke and nje iphele with no real, like ukuthi kuba core consequence, nothing, you know. The other thing that bothers me, ukuthi it has started becoming. I know that I've been hearing this a lot today. Abantu have been using this as fuel, sort of in this gender wars going on at the moment. I know someone who was like, yeah, no, umzulu vele umzulu behave kanje, usikhombisa indoda yomzulu behave kanje, imhlukumeza kanje umfazi wakhe. I'm like, no, guys, you're missing the problem here. You're not analyzing this thing properly. Again, yeah, well, like these things, yeah, once you pick a side, Lana, it's a slippery slope. Once you pick a side, it's one of those things where it's like, should it happen? No, these things shouldn't be happening. Number two, this is the type of stuff that don't leak about your family. You know, it's also teaching us not as people who would isn't just again is lungis. This guy's as figure pantless as fear J. And then there's that element of you speaking about Unkoskas. I don't want to talk too much about that because again, none of my business. But it definitely is one of those you must also be watchful because when the time gets tough, when the going gets tough, whenever there's friction, indlela I choose is gonna affect you and the rest of your family, not only internally but also outside, you know. But yeah, ayikho inkomo engcwele. Ngiyabonga mfowethu. Cela ukusheshe nginibalekela mfowethu. If I catch y'all later, I will catch y'all. That's just my thoughts. 2
Now
cents
we're
out.
gonna go off very soon.
Oh, okay, maybe let me just listen in for maybe 5 minutes just to hear what you guys think about my thoughts.
Because I didn't want us to make this a long segment because of the issues addressed at the beginning of this. You know what I mean? In fact, I even have a video of a guy that used to live with him at university in the United States coming out and talking about how I warned you about this drinking thing. But that video was not done based on this. It was done like during May somewhere. You know what I mean? So it's a side thing. And also, I have a video of some woman talking about how the king married a woman with 2 children already, you know, that the king is a stepfather. So I did not want to put that out there as well, you know what I mean? I just wanted just to play this video and then we just formulate our own opinions based on just the original video because I don't know how true it is that other things that people are coming out with, you know what I mean?
That's why I was very hesitant on diving in on that whole that's a bit deeper, you know.
Yeah, but then just another thing that I did notice, it's about uyazi ukuthi mina ngaba inkosi kanjani yabo ngiyathakatha mina not
guys, I'm out, you know. I'll see you.
No, it's fine. I think it's fair. I think we can close it, the video here as well.
Mina, my position is still that we have no right to have access to any man's family home situation.
That's 100%.
That's my point, that I'm not even going to get into the content of what was said in that video. We should not have seen any of that. And that's my point and my argument. The bottom line is in Kaya and clean. You should stay in Kaya. You know, like, that one we should not have seen. Cloud chasers. Who is the cloud
chasers?
It's
talking about the people that I was mentioning, you know, the people that are like, you know.
No, you know what I mean? Like we gotta have a sober conversation about this because Nami, I don't want my things to be exposed like that, bro. Let's just be honest.
Can you imagine?
I don't want.
Can you imagine?
And obviously, you are gonna argue. You're gonna have problems with your person. So now, and like I think it was Venus who mentioned, no one shows what happened before. You are being shown. You are being shown. You are being shown season 3, episode 8. You don't know what happened in season 1. You have no clue. And now people are just jumping.
Thank you, Holy Cow. Thank you so much. You know.
Thank you.
No, I like Holy Cow. I like Holy Cow because he has pushed back. Only cow,
I just
shout
want
out
to
to
say,
you, man. I want people who have pushed back. That's how we get better.
I just want to jump in, go holy cow, while we're on the topic of being Zulu. Inkomo engengcwele futhi ikhona yini inkomo engcwele? Asiqhubekeni.
Yeah, indoda ngeenkomo zabo. That's what they say. You know. Yeah, but I mean, yeah, guys. I just to say this one point, and then I can sign off. There is an attack, you know, on women, right? As much as they say the attack comes from men, no, it comes from where the attack on men comes from as well. Whatever structure, you know, because now this happens everywhere. That now we find so many men like not respecting. I mean, so many women not respecting their men. And okay, fine, this was the king, right? So let's remove the king and go to other situations. These men, they lose their jobs, bruh. They lose their livelihoods, you know, all these things based on what the person that they were supposed to trust, that they had vows, that they, you know, came together as families and whatnot and made a promise to each other, you know. They're not caring about the effects that this will have on the children, you know, their entire families and everybody else involved, you know, because of what? Because of just self-validation. No, look, guys, this is what I'm going through. You know, weren't you supposed to be dealing with your husband? You know what I mean? So even with whatever guy that I disagree with and whatnot, when I do see things like this, man, it kind of like, bruh, because it can happen to any of us, bro. I'm sure even most of us here, we've been in situations where you just disagree a little bit with the chick, all of a sudden you're being aggressive. And you're like, you know what? Let me just hold it there now because I'm being censored at this point. Do you know what I mean? Because now this is a fight I will not win. There will be other men that will come and be like, bro, how could you? And like, bro, how could I what? You know what I mean? Because like
And
they
at
created this
that time,
division.
you're just commenting. You don't even know the context. You don't have the
Bruh.
details.
You see, so
That's the
at the end of
problem.
it's a problem, and those guys they don't even believe in that defending. They do. They just doing it because they want to appear in some sort of way so that they can be seen as the hero or whatnot. And so that's like another selfish behavior as well. You know, willing to.
Lindo, I told you, brothers,
people just
the
want us
only
to talk.
thing that is going to save Africa is the truth. Lento immigration sinenkinga ngoba we don't want to be truthful. Sikhulume ukuthi isukaphi le problem. All our problems we trying to make excuses for ourselves. No, it's because this one. No, but it's my African brother. No, you see, that's the problem. Truth, Lindo, truth. Let's be truth. Let's try our
100%.
best to be more truthful about the situations.
Totally agree.
Yes, we know the Lento, and it affects our society.
To the truth, bro.
Truth.
Yeah.
Let's try. It's not easy. Let's try, man.
Yeah, let's try 100%. So yes, guys, thank you so much. Okay, and there's the last comment. Oh, they replace you. The disrespect is real out here. 100% no all the cows. You know what I mean? Again, thank you for so much for being engageful today or this afternoon. You know, thank you for subscribing. You know, let other people know that you know there's some conversations happening out here in this YouTube platform. You know what I mean? Because the videos most of the time that we do see or the podcast or whatever that we do see online, they're usually just scripted. You know, they make a video, they record it. If there's something that perhaps they don't like, that they cut it out, and then you get this perfect conversation at the end of it all. Whereas here, it's just off the dome. I mean, like mistakes here are allowed. You know, I mean, you can be wrong and you can be corrected. You know, all those things, which is resembles the true conversations of the society. You know what I mean?
I can witness, Lindo, that I have never received a script from you.
Yeah.
It's just I just get the link. I just get the link and I know, oh,
yeah, it's live. It's just in there, pure conversation. So yes, guys. Again, thank you so much. Like, subscribe, comment, turn on your post notifications, share your views on the live chat. And if the live is done, you can go to the comment section, rewatch, or the people that haven't watched it can watch and then comment there and all the good stuff. So thank you guys. We'll see you. We'll try it maybe tomorrow, I don't know, but Monday for sure. You know what I mean? So yeah, guys, we'll see you on the other side. Peace out.
All right.
Yeah, it was a nice one.